Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but you can play on other.
And then I loved all the variations. Like the reason I saw the same article you're looking at. The reason they said it was bad was because they then released it for like the Wii or whatever for like $20.
Okay, yeah. I wouldn't have paid $20 for it.
Now, this one gets me every time.
Yes.
Whoa. Yeah, this is crazy,
Yeah.
actually.
That's from the CDI
Version of
Link, the Faces of Evil.
wow, yeah, that's just...
Yeah, looked at the same
Those are
article.
just
you're
kind
looking at.
Why does it not get back? I was proud of avoiding so many horrible games.
I know, right?
I was like, oh, I don't understand these. I could avoid games that suck by not buying any of them. So that's see.
We need to close this
Yeah, probably. Something could happen.
because I can hear it going on here.
Yeah.
You can hear the turds inside of the pipe.
Rattling around in there.
Rattling down.
Somebody needs more fiber.
Well, that's it.
Poop roll where poop is rattling down. There's your goal.
You want me to put him on the phone? Do we have him on this?
Yeah, well, we should. Yeah.
Here, yeah. Sorry, I took him on the phone. I plugged into the phone power this.
Alright,
Go ahead and call it.
we're semi-live, right?
We're just about to be.
On the phone.
Semi-hard.
We're semi-hour. We got a semi-hour.
This might come a microphone. We'll see. You never know when you put it in the jack. It would have been a microphone.
Listen,
Goals.
Oh,
You know, so I can
put it on a headset. Look, that never stops me from drinking beer. Never does. I just hit it and throw it outside. I've probably been actually gotten so on the show. Oh, really? My back's been so. Alright. We should do this.
We should do this.
And 3 and 2 and
Oh.
Hey, man, can you hear us? All right, that sounds good. All right. You sound good.
Look, I can keep my batteries.
Oh, thank you.
Is that okay?
Live from the third sub-basement of the Guys Games and Beer headquarters. Holy shit, it is a low-effort podcast today. It's Guys Games and Beer!
Yeah! Okay, is that better? A
There we
little
go.
more effort? A little more effort?
Now we're
Hooray!
All right.
Yippee skippy.
Yippee skippy!
Yay!
There's not enough said for doing nothing. It's just.
Yeah, yes there is. It's called doing nothing.
So here's the beer you can pour on your phone.
Sweet. So
And
there.
that podcast.
Here, I'm gonna pour this beer all over my phone. I know how much you like getting foam in your face.
Thank you. New podcast, Rage in the Nation.
Hey, you didn't see that. I was thirsty. I was thirsty.
The new
I was
podcast,
thirsty.
Rage in the Nation, doing nothing. Just an hour's worth of somebody doing nothing.
That's pretty much our podcast.
That's pretty much our lives.
Yeah, I was
You're talking
yeah.
about-
I was gonna say, that's life.
Doing nothing.
Yeah.
With your host.
Guys, Games and Beer.
All right, so we have beer court tonight, and Larry's picked up something.
We totally didn't start beer court.
Yeah, we probably should pick up the
Well,
logo.
maybe to think, so you maybe read
Ba-dum,
it.
bum.
$5.
Ba-da-bum-bum. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum. Ba-da-da. Beer court.
Coupon.
That's nice.
All right, so Larry, what are we doing tonight on beer court?
Okay, today we have a brew from One Barrel out of Madison, Wisconsin.
I've never heard of them.
I have heard quite a bit, or I've seen it popping up more regularly lately. This one was a little intriguing to me because of the name, Fifth Element, and why is it intriguing?
Because what is my favorite movie? Fifth Element.
So I thought,
Amazing.
I'll buy this beer because Tom loves the Fifth Element. And what it is a rye Indian pale ale. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I read that too and I thought the same thing.
Thank you for that vote of confidence there, Ben.
Apparently, they were founded during the 377th meeting of one of the Gentlemen's Brewing and Distillery Society meetings. It was
Sounds like a great
agreed
sex club.
that the OBBC would showcase their enjoyable making and drink all manner of beer can be. I think.
Wow,
no.
Wait, let me read that, because that's...
Obvious.
That
What the-
maybe,
Larry's reading is captivating.
I know it.
but
That's got...
but I don't think I'm wrong.
You're not wrong, Larry.
This is really poor English.
Yeah, I think the idea is it was written during one of those same meetings.
Oh, yeah,
Where they
okay.
were drinking everything.
Yeah, because, wow, somebody was really smashed, or they had some Chinese guy translate it for them. One of the two, because that's really amazing English on that one.
So we will try a rye. So what was substituted? Hops.
No, you'll still have hops in it. It's a pale ale.
Water.
So instead of barley,
Instead of barley.
they used rye.
All
Well,
right.
rye is barley. I mean, it's just different.
Alright.
I don't know if you wanted to read it. Words.
Okay, I get that.
You know, I'm not bad with that. It does have a slightly rye taste to it.
Yeah. Which I kind of like. In fact, one of the whiskeys I drink is a rye whiskey, so I kind of like that.
You're a whiskey.
I am not bad with that.
Doesn't
It's
have
not bad. I mean, I'm not an IPA guy in any way, so the hops at the end. But at first, the taste is not really bad until that kicks in.
Okay, so now, again, we're drinking out of a bottle. I get a bit of a titty taste at the end, though.
No, I don't have any
Did
tins.
you say a titty taste?
Depends,
Like titties.
depends on the titties.
Tinny. I don't.
Tinny
I
taste.
don't get that. But I think.
You getting the titty taste?
Titty taste.
You getting the
I
titty
think
taste?
All right, I'm the only one not tasting it.
I don't.
guess, but
Something-
I think the
Yeah,
rye
yeah.
kind of a lot
But it
of
sounds a
Indian
little like-
pale ales.
Very
Oh.
end.
Have a lot of bite. I think this mellows,
Yeah.
and I think the
Sounds
rye
cool.
mellows it.
No,
So
I just don't like IPAs.
You that's why you wear.
Yeah.
Well, cheers. Oh, good for you. All right.
You're behind.
But I'm on. So I'm trying to do all three of these chats.
Yeah, I know, I'm in
I got to come up with a
more
better
than
way
one
of doing this.
We probably should be organized and have one
Well,
person.
obviously you
watch
need
it.
to
Oh,
learn
yeah.
yourself.
6.5.
I've got one
We
that
hit you with
follows
the
two.
6.5.
Oh, it's 6.5. Okay, so for an IPA, that's a little higher than normal alcohol content. Hey, and it actually says it in big letters on the front. Hey, you know what? If you brew a beer, it's really good to put the ABV on the outside where we can read it.
Yeah, I fucking hate that.
No, I do too. I'm sorry
In
because
very big letters.
while I'm blind, big letters help.
I just like to know how drunk I'm gonna get and how
I
quickly.
cannot-
Damn it.
Exactly. Thank you.
I cannot
Let me do
believe
some math real
you don't
quick.
taste the titty.
No, I'm not kidding.
It's
I'm
tinny.
not kidding.
It's the more I drink it, it builds up too.
It's like, yeah.
It builds up. Some beers you drink and
It's
they
like
kind of get
licking
better.
a tin can.
This one gets tinnier as I drink it.
Tinnier or
Ooh.
tinnies or.
Tittier.
You use that
I
technical.
wished it was getting tinnier, but it's getting tinnier. I want big titties on my beer. Yeah, no, the more I
Even
drink it,
smelling it, I can smell the tin.
yeah, you can. That's really weird.
Quit huffing tin.
I want to go back to huff and paint.
Yeah, maybe in a cup it would air that out.
Huff and lead would be better.
I'm getting more and more as I drink it.
Yeah.
Literally, a
Seriously.
metallic taste now in my mouth.
It almost made me think like my lip was bleeding at first or
Yeah.
something.
No, it's getting more metallic the more I drink it, which I
It
find
is
disturbing.
You know, I was gonna go maybe on this one, but
Yeah, I don't think no. That's, the
just
more I
because the
drink.
tin is.
All right, yeah. The more I drink, I hate to say this. This is one that the more I drink, it's not better. Literally, my mouth tastes like I've been sucking on a tin can.
I'm average.
I
Rob?
actually kind of like it,
Okay.
but I'm
Well,
not
like,
getting
my
that.
thing is-
Tom, this is what sucking your dick must taste like, because
Damn straight. I got a big hunk of metal there.
I'm gonna go sideways.
All right.
I'm okay with it.
It could be a bad batch as well.
It could
Yeah.
be.
Especially because
Well,
of the tinny flavor, it could be a
It's
bad
odd
batch.
that they.
I don't think they do huge batches.
Yeah, it's a small
It's
batch
one.
brewery.
It's one.
And this goes back down to consistency, right? So no, I'm gonna go down. This, like I said, the more I drink, the less I like.
Yeah, I'll try it again, but
All right.
Well,
Judge Rob, pass verdict.
Charge 1 of tasting like Tom's dick. I find you guilty.
Hey, I like that flavor.
The worst part is that everybody knows what my dick tastes like.
Worst
Well, if you
part
would
or
dictate
best
to
part?
everybody.
Hey. Drink more, Larry. It helps.
What, sucking your dick?
Yes.
Being drunker does help.
Count 2, impersonating an element. Fucking guilty, mother effer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
sentence
guess
you-
gin would be an element.
2? What do I sentence you to?
Drinking.
I guess we'll drink it.
Yeah, I guess we'll drink it.
Guess.
All right. So, Rob, what's the real topic tonight?
Titties.
Titties.
Nice.
You know, I am perfectly good. If we're going to go over that topic, I have got tons of material for that topic.
I've done a recent
So does
spat
Ted Cruz.
on my other show of reviews of a bad series of games, and this is how this came up because you know, they always talk about how bad E.T. was, and I gotta tell you, no, there's a lot of games, even on the Atari, that are worse than E.T. But I think we're gonna open this up a little bit to games that are worse than E.T. in general, and I really think E.T.'s badness is overblown. I think part of being bad, I guess, is the expectation of it being great and then it not being great. But I sometimes think that it gets overblown because of that, and its badness.
Well, and there is
Well,
there
it's
is
part
a,
of the story
is-
too. It's part of the myth.
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
because-
the buried cartridges and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I think E.T. Having played the game, it is terrible. But
I mean,
as far as
bad.
like the worst game or whatever, it's just you know, almost became cool just to
Rip on it, yeah.
rip on E.T. You know, like it's so.
In fact, Code
Yeah.
Monkeys did a whole episode
Yeah.
on that.
Which is, by the way, one of my favorite shows of all time.
And they're one of their best episodes.
But it is a terrible game because it hits many elements. The game itself seems to
many
go nowhere.
elements.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The game goes nowhere. I mean, you know, the controls don't make a lot of
Watch Code
sense. You
Monkeys
know,
again.
it,
It's a great show.
It does taste like it.
When
So-
I was, when I played it, I was 9 or 10 or whatever year it
E.T.?
was. So
I was
in that
sperm,
Atari
so-
age, I think I was fine with E.T. I didn't think it was
all right.
awful.
But then again,
Well,
Too
as,
awful. But
as
you were
a-
also 9 or 10.
as a
Yeah,
child,
I mean,
think about
I
movies
really wanted-
you saw and you're like, oh,
Did
that's
you-
awesome. And you're like,
did you ever
as an adult,
just
like,
simply
that was
not-
so bad.
Did
Yeah.
you ever simply like get past falling in a hole or
Well,
the guy
that was
capturing
one
you
of those
and
really
then-
painful things. Like,
like
try to get out of the hole, fall back in, try to fall back in.
and then if you did get out of the hole, some guy grabbed you and like hauled you away.
Yeah.
And it's like
Mysterious
you never
cloak
really
guy.
like okay, even like Pac-Man. It's a maze, complete the maze, yay done. Alright, here's another maze, complete a maze. But, you know, at least you know when you've like, successfully done something. Well, E.T. never felt like you understood whatever success was.
Did you read the manual? Because I finished it.
Yeah.
Don't
Even
people-
though I got pissed
Wait,
off at
don't
Rob.
people fit in like
No.
finish it in like
You
12
can
minutes
read?
or something like that?
Yeah, I can read.
I read the manual.
All right. Well, let's again. So that using that as a starting point, that it's not just the fact that the game is bad, but also the high expectations for the game can really sour you on a game. So I'm going to go first with this because that is really where I start out with. Again, all you guys know, we love our mech games here, and we particularly love one game, Steel Battalion. So Steel Battalion came out
Never
with
heard of it.
the original Xbox, and we literally have days where we set up and do that. By the way, if you're going to Gamehole Con, which is the first weekend in November, we will be running a full Steel Battalion networked game setup there, full 10 rigs. You didn't hear yet. So
Thanks for busy.
I'm making an announcement. No, we're still doing we're doing the podcast. We're actually going to be running 2 areas. We're got a separate crew running the Steel Battalion, but Guys Games and Beer is
Real
sponsoring
Steel
that.
Battalion.
Real Steel Battalion on the Xbox One. So we love Steel Battalion. It's a
Not
great
the
Kinect
Kinect
game.
version.
And here comes the downside. So they were going to reboot the Steel Battalion, and there's been talk about doing this before. You know, making a mech controller and coming out with a new Steel Battalion kind of game. And there's been all sorts of talk on it online. Finally, Microsoft goes, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this again. Capcom goes in with them, yeah, we're doing this again. And they decide, well, you know, to keep it cheaper, we won't make a controller for it. Everybody has the Kinects nowadays for the this was for the 360. We'll make one for the 360 with the Kinects. And you'll use the Kinects, and it'll monitor your motions and know how to control your mech.
Connect or connects? Because those are two different things.
Connect. For your
You have to
Xbox.
build the controller yourself.
For your Xbox Kinect. It sucked. It was
Hey, connects were
horribly.
fun, damn it.
It was horribly unplayable. Not that the game itself didn't have good elements in it, nice graphics, good storyline, blah blah blah, but the control system was so
Garbage.
garbage. You couldn't control your mech. It lagged. It didn't pick
I
up your
don't know how
movements.
it got released, honestly.
No, either do I. It was that bad. It was so bad it should have never been released. Because first of all, they had horrible sales in it because as soon as a few people tried it out, went, oh, this just does not work at all. You cannot do it.
I remember being excited about it, and then I read the reviews and just like, that was like, what they're saying is like, their games, I mean, major titles they're buggy. They're going to be, just because the huge depth of them and how massive the maps and everything can be in them, they're going to be buggy. But this was beyond that. This was just like unusable. It made no sense that was literally released. There's no way the developer was like,
Oh, this is
this
good.
works. It works.
Yeah, no, there is no way. Honestly, you're right. I cannot see how anybody sat down and played, any beta testers, any developer could have sat down and played that game and thought, oh, this works great.
The only thing I can
You were lucky 25% of the time it actually got your controls right when you were doing the controls. If that.
The only thing that made sense is it had to be like, I don't know if it was public, whoever was like, hey, no, you're releasing it, deal with it, and they just couldn't finish it. That's the only thing that actually makes sense to me. Because it was that bad.
Just out
Yeah.
of curiosity, now, do we think it would have been technically possible for them to have made new Steel Battalions for the 360 that used the old controller?
Yes, it would have been. Because, here's the thing, there is an adapter from Xbox to USB. We've used the if you remember, on some of the early mech days especially, we used to play a lot of Mech Force using the Steel Battalion controllers. So there's no reason they couldn't have even made it so the new game used the original controller. I understand there's a limited amount out there. They probably could have got the company to produce more. I'm sure all the original molds are still floating around somewhere, all the original stuff. Yes. Cost-wise,
Thank God.
it's cost prohibitive. I mean, it is. I mean, those controllers.
yeah,
I know they were
The idea
pushing
of it wasn't good. It wasn't an idea.
Kinect
Like, oh,
at the
Kinect.
time.
They're pushing it like that's a fine idea, but it was just done so poorly that I still can't process how it was released.
And it's not out of the realm of the mech world to have sort of, me moving
Right.
to.
We've talked about this. If you watch Pacific Rim, I mean, that's a perfect example of it monitoring your motion and you're doing the way. It wasn't. Again, conceptually not a bad idea if it would have worked.
Yeah.
But there's no way they released that knowing it was ever going to work. It didn't work. Again, you were lucky 25% of the time it picked up the right motion or the right.
It probably would have picked up the motion because, it like just moving like this, like, okay, I'm moving, and that picks up. But they didn't have little teeny hand controls for like firing. And
Right,
that
and it
kind of
can't
stuff.
do that, and that
It
is
can't
the
do that.
problem.
And if they had added little hand controls.
You're right.
do
Even if they would have added so you could use the pad and it picked up motion, that might have been enough.
Well, you gotta have your hands free.
You don't. You could have done some other kind of gesture. You could have done other things with it. You could have had it so when you tilted,
Yeah.
your mech tilted.
Yeah.
If there would have
Because
been.
the Kinect, does a decent job
With
of
that-
that
with-
kind of
with-
gross body movement.
with gross body movements. It doesn't do well with fine movement.
Yeah.
And that
gross
was the
body
All of
movements.
Tom's body
Yeah,
movements
I
are
did.
gross.
They are really actually, trust me, I mean, they are horrible. So wait a minute, before we go any further, we have
Gross
somebody
but
with us
sexy.
tonight, a G2B not so regular anymore. Who's the black,
Irregular.
who is the black box tonight?
It's me.
Who
It's
is,
always been me.
wait a minute, who is
Me.
me?
That could be two
For
different
for
voices
people
at
who
once.
may not
I'm
be
afraid I
watch-
can't
not-
answer that, Dave.
have not watched the show in a while. Who is me?
It's Ben. I'm back.
It's Ben, he's back. And he came back.
Phantom Ben.
He came back as a black box.
Who's
It's
Ben
really
Black?
scary.
I don't know him.
I
Yeah,
did-
I'm a clown.
I did say black. I did say black box. Box.
And do we need to say
Black cocks.
Thank you.
Here, I got my finger on your big black box.
Black cocks.
it's Ben-
All right, so,
Ben Block and
so that's
Black.
my pick
We
for
have
bad
to
game.
save him.
And again, and here's part of what made it bad. Expectation. It was just like going back to the original. Everybody had great expectations for ET, and then the game sucked. All of the people who were into Steel Battalion thought, "Oh my God, they're bringing back Steel
Oh, I was
Battalion,"
so excited.
and the game sucked. And it
Where-
sucked because of the controller.
Were you forced to always just use connectors?
Yeah.
Have it off.
No, they
That
didn't.
was it.
It was that
Uh,
exactly.
It's a Connect feature.
Yeah. That's what ruined the game.
Alright, I want to go next.
You go next.
I have a game, kind of, not, expectations weren't built up as much, but it still did. It had a great idea and it was just shitty. Spore. Spore was a flaming piece of
Oh.
garbage.
Yes.
Oh, it tended not to work.
You
I
literally,
actually liked the game, kind of, but it was so fundamentally broken when it came out. It didn't, on the Mac, it didn't work for like 2 months. I was running the Mac for it, because I figured out I'll play something on the Mac.
to me it was a great
It just
concept.
didn't work.
I really like the idea of like evolving something and like literally making it not just a civilization, literally evolving it from like single cells and stuff. It was a great idea and it just was stupid. I mean, I had expectations for it, and especially for a full price game at the time, that felt like I felt so cheated. It was just the worst.
Well, and
It
that's
was
the
like a
thing.
dumpster full of used diapers and hair that was on fire.
Wow.
Probably should have picked that up.
No. The diapers or the game? I don't know which one you're talking about.
The diapers would have been a better bet. I'm just gonna put it out there.
They're wrapped at
Sounds
least,
like
damn!
Sounds like either.
Yeah.
Well, with Spore being like it was a fun game.
Did you say
But
s'more?
He said s'mores.
Yeah, s'more.
S'mores.
S'mores. I love
No,
it.
Spore was
S'mores
not
are
fun,
great.
man, you're
Spore.
wrong.
It was a decent game at points, but yeah, that like the whole pie. I don't want to eat the whole pie. I'll take a whiff of that dumpster,
I
but
feel
I
like
don't want to actually eat
The
it.
only part that I really enjoyed was the very beginning when you're like a single cell organism. It felt
Yeah,
like,
like,
okay.
yeah. Why
But
isn't that
after
a longer
that,
period?
it
Or
just-
like you can. I just want to play single cell.
So,
or I just
Basically, it was
wanna
like,
play
hey, choose A or
the
B.
creature stage.
So,
Like,
It literally
well,
boils
your
down to like,
life's goal is to be a single cell again.
Hey, I am perfectly good with that life goal.
as long as
No,
I get drunk,
no
it's
swimmer.
fine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Purpose. I'll have a tail, it'll be great.
Who doesn't want a tail?
Hey, wait, I already have one.
Wrong side. It's again your back.
Oh, okay, never mind. All right, so who wants to go next?
I got mine.
All right.
Go ahead.
So last week I gave praise to a 3DO game with Metal Ties, Way of the Warrior on the 3DO. This week I'm going to go to the opposite end of crappy fighter games, and it would have been Shadow Warf's Succession. On the
Sex
3DO.
session?
Sex session. It's a porn game.
Yeah. Where Way of the Warrior wasn't that great of a motion capture type game with fighting elements. Shadow felt like
I
an
gotta tell you, I should shut
unfinished.
your mouth. I love that game.
You did like it? Did you enjoy it?
I actually did enjoy
Okay,
it.
it was fun. I mean, in college we played a lot of that game.
I could see
back and
why.
forth. Just it was silly, fun. Yeah, the white zombie, but Shadow was like
I know.
an unfinished game.
Fists of Metal. That's what that was going
Yeah.
on there.
So in Shadow, you had like you got the character select screen that comes up, and just 2 random bodies are just kind of shaking with their like 3 frames of animation. You had your 7 players in the middle of players you could choose from, and then you would press play and it would just kind of stay silent for like half a minute while it's loading the stage up, and then you'd fight, and then you'd have these like fast movement, low frame rate, motion capture characters trying to fight each other that didn't seem to connect or anything like that. And then you'd also have the fact that you could just like spam an attack against the other, the AI or somebody else, and just keep them away, kind of thing, like fireball, fireball, fire, and somehow you could keep them away, or whatever movement was in the game that your player. Hopefully, you would choose a player that had something like that, because otherwise, you apparently didn't win the game at all if you played the computer.
So you had to have a distance weapon
Yeah,
that
to
had
stay.
that had a
One guy, like literally, you're talking a fighting game. One
throwback,
guy had a shotgun. For some
yeah.
reason, this guy would pull out a shotgun and bang.
and he would shoot people.
Yeah.
And it turned out he won a lot.
I bring a gun to a
With
fist
his-
fight.
Fist fight. For some reason, he was
Yeah.
alive. But you know, these
I
magic
feel like,
people that just
I
go
feel
like,
like that's a
"Ugh,"
good way
with
to
their hands
go.
with them.
Hadouken, yeah.
Yeah. So you'd have these 2 different fighters, and like it was just very erratic, and the characters would kind of like not really run into each other, but you'd hit each other. The
And
sounds were like
the
kind
guy
of
that had no
poor, too.
projectile weapon at all died all the time.
So on top of that, when you're fighting each other and you get to the end, like you kill the normal 2 out of 3, it would say like finish him or finish. The developer never included a finishing move or anything like this, because this is right after. Literally, like finish him was like, well, I'm just gonna punch you 1 more time so you fall, which is the equivalent of like what most people do in Mortal Kombat. If they no finishing move, they just run up to the person. And he said 1 more time.
That's
They had
amazing.
No finishing moves, even though they said
Finish him.
finish. And then of course they end the matches with like the one-liner or the characters like, oh, I will kill you, or I killed you. That was like the
We made love.
And one guy just went like, that was his like starting move, like when you like this guy against this guy. So
You have to admit,
Hello.
the finish,
story.
the
I
finishing
swear-
part in
I
Mortal
swear.
Kombat was fucking brilliant.
It was.
Yeah.
I swear, in even the other game, I did punch someone and they fell over and went, "Hey!"
So
I sure wasn't just like wind being expelled. And I was like,
And I think because the 3DO wasn't a very well-known system, and at this time, like I think the developer just went, everyone's doing motion capture for fighters right now.
wait, what do you mean
We're
at the
gonna
time? Isn't it always been a relatively unknown system?
Oh.
Yeah.
They were trying to
they're
break
fighting
into the
against
market.
CDI. And,
Feelings hurt.
They thought that
Atari,
700 price point would be a real winner.
Yeah.
Dropping truth
Well,
bombs.
no, it had power. It had the power. I mean, you were paying for what you were getting. It just didn't have the developers.
Yeah. So that was mine. It was
Blame
just,
it
it
on
was,
the
that
developer.
game
I
was-
will. I'm blaming. Hey, I'm an engineer. We always blame it on the software people.
Absolutely.
It's 'cause they're
Larry,
worse.
it's your fault.
So if
Damn
anybody-
it, Larry!
Anybody who wants a fun time, just look up that game. Watch people review it on YouTube or whatever. It's funny. You watch and it's like, oh, that game was just painful.
So Robert
And
has
this isn't a
episode
big-
bitching about developers, right?
This is
Yes.
in a big time where like everyone was trying to come up with that next great fighting game. Because you had Street Fighter, you had Mortal Kombat, you had
you have
some
big
other-
success of like that. It's like everyone wants to jump
I mean,
in.
beat those guys.
But
no,
you jump.
this guy, they must have been like handing a bunch of money. Like, we're gonna make a game. And no, it was awful.
There's like 2 college students, like, we're gonna make a game. Oh.
Maybe we can't make the game we were hoping for.
But we'll still release it.
All right, Larry, what do you got?
All right, so I to be honest, at first I had kind of a hard time with this topic because just offhand, there was nothing that was sticking in my head like,
Yeah, the same
oh
issue.
God, I hated that game and stuff like that, because either I abandoned them quickly
That's me.
or I'm
That's
a
the
little
worst.
behind the
Pretty
curve,
slow.
like most people know. I'm buying Xbox 360 when people are buying a PlayStation 4, and so a little behind. So I mean, you know what the greatest hit titles are by then, because You know, they've been out already 10 years. And so, you know, it's hard to like really just hone in on the terrible games. But I was reminded as I kind of reviewed some other people's lists of a time when I was on cutting edge. I was a cutting edge
Atari?
gamer. No, Dreamcast.
Oh, yeah, you were.
I was a cutting edge. Bought it like week it came out, kind of thing. Yeah.
Which just
Cutting
say
edge.
that's. How old is Dreamcast now?
99. 17 years.
17 years, something like
No,
that.
no.
Might be 18.
Almost
99.
legal.
99.
It is
Yes,
18
it's
years.
right
It's
next to
18 years.
you.
It
It
is.
is as
It,
of
well,
like 2
it
days
just,
ago.
it just
No,
turned
it's
18.
legal.
That's right. It just turned 18.
All right. So,
On Saturday.
and of course,
That's
one
right, I
of
did see
the
something
really,
about
really good games for it was Speed Demons. Man, it nailed racing in that game.
We're
It's
not
better
supposed
on
to
the
talk about
PC,
like
but
games
we're
that nail
talking
it,
about
though.
shitty games.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I gotta build it because as it was
Everything
back
Larry
to
says has to
expecta-
build to something for like 2
Ah,
hours.
Yeah, back to expectations here, you know. So you had, you know, this actual racing game which was one of the first racing games I really felt like, man, the control is so good on this. This is just so good. And so as a racing family, and there's a game that came out, The Spirit of Speed, 1937.
Oh, I remember that.
So, you imagine jumping into the old open sprints of the 30s, no roll cages, you know, brake on the outside, you know, yeah. So you get into this thing, and it is terrible. The controls, you can't control the car for anything.
Maybe
You
they
know.
went for realistic controls.
I tried to load up Russo, but you know,
You did
wouldn't-
not. No luck.
No luck.
No Paul in
No
there?
luck. I was pretty sure that Russo would be in there, but
The Russo Racing Team?
yeah, I thought the Russo racing team would be in there, but I couldn't
Yeah.
load it up. You know, I tried screaming down the Indianapolis 500 and nothing.
You couldn't even
Graphics were
get a
not
slight
very
yelp.
good. Yeah, I mean it was just terrible. It was uncontrollable. I think I played it a total of like an hour, a frustrating hour, and it sits in my basement.
Now,
There was a time
now, see, that's
period
interesting
there.
though, because the Dreamcast, overall, I don't think has a whole lot of titles that I would consider failures. I mean,
Yeah.
pretty much everything on the Dreamcast was a solid title. They really had very few bad games.
Somehow
This one was.
Somehow they slipped in racing shovelware. And it was everything that racing shovelware has ever meant.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
It was awful. It was awful. And I had so much promise for it. Now for me, there was maybe a little more promise than the average person, and I think Rob could probably relate. You know that, hey, you know these are some of our heritage. You know, so, and even
Trying to
more
get
so
me
for
drunk.
Rob than me. And it was like, oh, I'm so excited for this because I had plans of building a cockpit and stuff, but this thing worked well.
Yeah.
You know, there was gonna be
Not that kind of cockpit there,
I had a
man.
control. I bought a racing controller. You know, a hand wheel and everything. Man, I had a lot of expectations for this, and I've been searching for this style of racing, a good one.
But that's a big damn disappointment when you're getting ready to
Yeah, when
cockpit.
you're thinking about making that kind of
Yeah.
dedication to
Yeah.
a game.
Well, because the graphical power of Dreamcast should have been good enough to really deliver.
Yeah, well,
And
okay. Now that being said, I think it's better though with 2D games, fighters, platformers. I mean, I don't remember there being. I mean, any really good 3D games. I mean, we played Heavy Metal Geometrix,
That's a good 3D game.
which
yeah,
is
but
not
a
bad.
fighter. I mean, isn't Soul Calibur?
Sure.
3D?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
One of the
that's
best
true. Now that
games.
you
So it
mention
should
it,
have been
no,
another
you're right.
handle.
That's
Power
true.
Stone was great.
That's true.
Power
No,
Stone?
no, you're right.
It should have been
I-
able to handle.
I
Almost
stand
every
corrected.
racing game
Yeah,
is
you're
actually
right.
good.
Yeah, handle
Oh,
res.
and what was the speedboat?
Res.
What was the speedboat game on it?
Oh,
I know,
Hydro
amazing,
Thunder.
right?
What's that?
Hydro Thunder.
Hydro
Thunder.
Thunder. Thank you. Hydro Thunder was amazing
Hydro
on it.
Thunder!
The
Excellent.
problem,
Excellent
it really was just shovelware. I mean, because I had high expectations for it, but
Yeah,
it still came
yeah.
out, I think, originally at a $20 price point, and it probably should have tipped me off.
Yeah.
I was spending approximately $20 too much.
That's
When most of the other games were 40.
That's
You
terrible.
know, so it was terrible. Because Saturday Night at the Races was another one of my big hopes
Yeah.
for the PlayStation
Arctic
2.
Thunder was amazing.
Which
Which
wasn't too bad of a game.
It
really wasn't.
Yeah, that was a good
But
racing game.
but the graphics were still not quite there yet. To sort of, oh, I want to live in
I
this.
remember those.
Yeah, they're
That was
well.
Yeah.
Now we got VR and there's amazing.
I know. Now I need that VR midget racing game.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
All right, let's move
I'll
on.
settle for a sprint.
Benson,
Yeah.
what do you got?
So it was a knee-jerk purchase because I was at and those are always bad. They're just like, I have the internet in my hand. I should be able to just do that half second of research to be like, this game is terrible. But I was at a local comic book store. Got really excited about just being like, yay, comic book store. Bought Metroid Prime and Metroid Prime Secret Files for the DS. And that game is terrible. Because
But it has the Metroid moniker.
Yes.
It must be good.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, sweet. Like, it was so good on the Game Boy Advance. It's just going to be amazing again. And it's terrible. It's the first-person shooter one, and it's like, I don't want to play Metroid like this. Especially on 3DS. It's just like, man, this sucks. And that I can't use, like, I got the Pro, so you usually can use that little diddly nipple to, like, mimic what you do with the actual touchscreen. But no, the diddly nipple don't even work. It don't even do nothing. So it's
Screw
just
you,
like,
diddly nipple.
Ben, I don't think you're diddling the nipple correctly.
I didn't even lick my hands before I touched my controller.
You did. Okay. Well, then
I
you
spit on it a little bit.
Did you try flicking it?
did you make
Yes,
sure your
I
hands were
tried
warm?
flicking
Did you make sure your hands were warm?
I even turned on Barry White, dude.
Damn, you went all out.
Yes. He was getting
I made a
smooth
nice
for
needle
it.
for it, everything. And
Did you
the
try
thing is, it
clamps?
didn't do nothing.
That's sad.
Getting too far?
That's it. Well, maybe a touch. Maybe a touch. All right. Yeah. No. Yeah. So that. And again, this is an expectation game because you see the Metroid name and you think, oh, it's a Metroid game. You know, I'm gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And I
great.
feel,
Well,
and
and
I feel like most bad games that get a bad reputation really have to have that because you can buy a bad game and it's gonna be a bad game. It's like, oh, that sucks. That was
Yeah,
fun.
I got a
But
bad
if you
game.
have that build up, it's like, fuck, that sucks. Big difference.
No, and what's
And you
interesting
know what? I
here
should have
is-
taken Larry's advice. There was a $20 price point on both games. $10. Yeah, they're probably a shit game.
Probably.
You know, and you bring up an interesting point about, you know, franchises that significantly change game style play.
Right.
So I remember, like, for me, switching from Zelda to Zelda 2. Zelda 2 was horrible, to me. But now a lot of people say, no, how Zelda 2 was great. But by switching the style of gameplay so dramatically, that it just was like, oh, I'm out. You know, and that kind of sounds like what happened to you. Is you expected, you know, sideshow shooter, and then you went to a first person. And it was like, well, if I wanted a first person, I'll just play Battlefield, and you know.
I wouldn't play Battlefield on a 3DS though. That was it. Just like, this doesn't work. I have to
Hella
move
bad
and
idea.
aim and shoot at the same time. Like, this is impossible.
Battlefield.
So
Yes.
again, and it didn't work on that system. So I just think
Yeah.
when you know you have kind of a franchise that's really and then you change the style quite a bit.
Well, and it can be something where the game is fine, but the controller issues, and this goes back down to my original game. Here was a controller issue as well that kind of took away a lot from the game. If you don't get your control scheme down right, you're going to be screwed. Gameplay is, you know, we talk about game mechanics all the time, but game controls are deadly important.
I think that's kind of a standard of really bad games. Is
The controls suck.
being screwed up.
Disagree that you can have bad controls and still be a phenomenally great game that's a hit across many years.
Which one?
Burger Time.
Yeah,
No,
I agree.
No. I honestly, I do not mind the Burger Time control.
Yeah, try getting off a fucking ladder for a little bit.
Except to climb to the
It's a
top.
four-way. It's a four-way joystick.
It's not. It's
He's
not.
not
Four-way?
He's not Jumpman where he can like zip over.
Thank
the-
you.
Look, I'm one
Exactly.
freaking pixel below the line. I think you can assume, like almost every game did at that time, that yeah, I want to go there.
It's not safe to climb off a ladder unless you're at the fully at the top.
Correct. Thank you.
You're not supposed to climb to the top 2
So-
windows.
It's
Yeah.
a safety game.
Logic.
That's right. That's right. It's OSHA approved.
But that was a game that I think a lot of people were frustrated with the controls because of how hardcore it was, and you have to be at the top of the ladder or the bottom of the ladder to be able to successfully move onto whatever plane you're moving to, and that was really frustrating. But the game had enough other charms
All right.
that
Overcame the controls.
yeah, I'm gonna like not worry about that.
Perfect.
And
The gameplay on the game was really good. Again, solid game mechanic, good gameplay. For its time, it had good graphics. In fact, a lot of the ports had really good graphics, so it really went very well.
well, what's
Did well.
interesting, a lot of the ports
They fixed the
created
controller issue.
a sort of a slop on the,
Yeah,
on
they
the
all-
ladder.
I think they all did. I can't remember
Yeah.
any of the ports where they were as bad as they were.
So
in the
some
arcade.
some of the ports were actually nicer to play.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
actual arcade game.
I was just looking. Hard Hat Mac was never released for the ColecoVision, but it was ready to ship. That's sad.
All right, so
Silver
Rob,
game.
No.
you get to wrap this up.
That sounds like Fixing Felix.
You know what? They should sue. If there's anybody left
Hard
alive
Hat
that
Mac.
made that game, you guys should sue. Sue 'em. Speaking of suing, here's one. I'm gonna just. I think that this company has to be taken as an entirety. I think you need to.
Wow.
I need to think. I think you need to take the whole body of work to really fully appreciate
They're that terrible.
Vidcon's horrific status as an Atari manufacturer, game
may have
manufacturer.
covered this guy before.
This one I just actually played their games recently. I've got and I do an Atari gig on my YouTube station, and I ran into these because they're not rare, but they're semi-rare. So I kind of like to do stuff that isn't done a lot. Holy crap, they're amazing. I started with Star Fox, which they should have sued definitely. Nintendo, they should have sued Nintendo for Star Fox because they definitely made the definitive version of Star Fox if you like sucky games. I am going to point out they recommended using like a roller controller with it, but of course nobody had the damn roller controller for the Atari 2600. There's like 5 people who did it. I'm sure somebody out there listening has had the roller controller. Well, you're the only damn one. But they released them anyway, and it was a joystick game. So Star Fox, it was. No, number one, I'm going to start as a group. All the games use the same engine, the same kind of screwed up engine. And there was like 2 zones in it, and there was always like a ground area. And in the ground area at Star Fox, you couldn't move left or right, you could only go down. And it was kind of like Defender, and you had to kind of pick things up. But you couldn't move left or right, and you were scrolling erratically. So it was damn impossible to pick things up. It was really, really hard. It would take you a really long time to pick something up because you were always overshooting it or undershooting it. And then crap would inevitably kill you immediately when you got down there. So you try to kill everything and go down, but it would take you so goddamn long to try and pick the thing up you were supposed to pick up. They were dots, by the way. They were dots. You were picking up dots. They were called, I don't know, Cryptosporidium. I don't know what they were called, but no, it was bad. So you
runoff
play that
from
game
your
right,
farmer fields.
Yeah.
and then you go, oh, Mythicon released another one. Actually, that was the last one they released, but still. There was Sorcerer, which was the same idea, except you could move left and right when you were on the ground, but you couldn't fire, and everything would just kill you. So there's really absolutely no reason to go on the ground. So they would start you on the ground with your flying carpet, which they didn't call flying carpet. They called it a flying platform because it was indeed just a line, and it would fly around.
It was 2,600 though.
Yeah,
You gotta think
It was
about
fly around.
Yeah, it was gonna be a line.
and you would wait until it came low enough for you to get it, but it had sloppy controls, of course, as aforementioned. Sloppy controls, so it was goddamn difficult to get it, and you had to push up while you're heading towards it, and then you get on it, and finally you could fire, and then you'd go to the next screen where inevitably you'd freaking die pretty much immediately because you could only fire one shot at a time and wait for it to hit the end of the screen before you can fire again. Everything else is moving at 500 miles an hour. Not that there's a lot of variety because there would be 3 enemies on the screen, but they'd all be linked together, so they'd all be moving together, and they'd just basically mow you over.
What was the technological weaponry idea of the you can't fire until another bomb hit, until
They had
that laser has successfully gone enough distance that you can now refire? I mean,
I don't think
nothing
they
makes
What?
sense on
Wait.
that.
I don't think they
Wasn't-
figured it out.
Wasn't that Space
There's
Invaders
a
though, too?
charging.
No, it was, but it was
You could actually hit something in Space Invaders. There was actually a skill game there. I mean, you actually could time your firing where in Sorcerer, because you're going left to right and moving erratically, much like Star Fox, you couldn't really line up a shot. So you would try and get as close as you could with your erratic steering, by
I
the way.
just want to understand, like,
And
the
you shoot
idea behind, like, hey, like, it'd be one thing if it's like you have a recycle time, okay, 5 seconds. That'd be a standard recycle time, right? Not like, hey, until it's hit something or is off the screen.
Yeah.
What?
I believe.
By the way, you could take your bullet back, by the way, in one of, I think it was either, Gorf or one of those games where, like,
Gorf.
you would start the
Shoot,
fire.
if you shot
And
too
if you
far,
shot
you-
again, it took your bullet
Yeah.
back, and they would fire.
Which, it was penalizing, but at least it was original for its time, and you could use it to your advantage if you missed.
Right. Oh, that's not gonna hit nothing.
There was
Bring it back.
strategy where this was just, it was a shit show. And then finally, don't worry because there's more.
Mm.
Now there's
There's
Firefly.
more? Sorry, I distracted you.
There's it's alright.
Oh, you get 3 games. Huh?
There's Firefly,
But if
Well, I
you
told
play
you, it's
more,
gotta
you
take
get
it.
4.
Which sounds like a great series you should watch on Netflix.
which can we
Never
guess what
heard
kind of
of
game it is?
Firefly?
Yeah.
It's a garden game.
But it's a Defender side-scrolling game because all their games use the same engine. They're Defender side-scrolling games. You could, however, go to the bottom of the screen finally and move around.
And
Unfortunately,
they finally figured out how to move in that territory.
yeah, well, they found another way to make the game impossible. You're I'm just coming off of this, so I'm passionate about it. But you had the aforementioned. Oh, by the way, Sorcerer, by the way, would also give you little prizes when you kill them. I have to mention that because they use the exact same prizes in Firefly. So in Firefly, you would shoot 3 enemies locked together, and then you would get a prize, which was from Sorcerer. But better than that, they had a
Okay.
section where you'd have to free the fairy. The fairy would have to be freed and handle the flies buzzing around it. But of course that was randomized. So and you couldn't steer. Because not steering was if they had anything down to a science, Mythicon had not controlling well down to a science. So you would freaking you'd try to time it so that these flies weren't there, but they were random, right?
Yeah.
And you couldn't hit the thing, so it's pretty much fucking random. Random that you're gonna get this thing when there's no flies. Well, they were mutant flies, so they'd kill you. But anyway, so they were bees. I'm sorry. How the hell can you tell they're dots? But anyway, you're going to get them, and you see it. It's clear. Bam! And you die.
Well,
And die.
question, did you beeline it?
Yes.
Oh.
You made But you couldn't make a beeline because you're steering erratically. All right, so finally, you saved the ferry, and
Did the ferry have boots?
and you got 30 fucking points. 30
Oh
points.
yeah, man, 30 points.
Which, if you just skip the screen, which later on you find out you could just fly past the dumbass ferry and fuck it, not even try and get the ferry, you could then shoot something else and get more points anyway in the end after 2 screens, which you could actually do, unlike the
Is the
goddamn
goal to
ferry.
get points?
But the poor fairy was dead, or not captured, or collected.
It's a ferry.
You can have its flag. Goddamn.
Brutally
So-
slaughtered.
Are you not going to give Mythicon a pass for their low cartridge price point of $10 per game at the Atari 2600 level?
No.
I mean,
You can buy 3 games for $30 when the average price of 1 game
you can
is
buy
23.
the entire
games in
Mythicon
play.
library and get the entire Mythicon experience for
in
30 bucks straight.
1982, right?
Yeah,
Or 4.
that's pretty goddamn impressive, I gotta say.
They did have a low price point for their games.
If you hated your kid,
you
if you
could buy them a
truly
game a year.
hated your kid, you could just get them that whole set for Christmas. They'd probably be set until maybe summer.
I'm starting to hear a theme here that
Yeah.
low price point games.
Yeah, just generally tend to be low price point for a reason.
Remember, and it's at least on topic. Remember when Target generated their own Commodore 64 games? Do you remember any of them?
No.
No.
They were all horrendous. They would
Although
Come up with a high
I think that's
budget
really
game.
intriguing that they were creating their own.
Really?
game.
they had a
did that.
Target
But,
logo.
but Target
When you saw
Target was big into Commodore. They were one of the
They
first
did.
ones who
That's where I got my Commodore.
who really went nuts when the 64 came out. They didn't do much on the VIC 20, but when the 64 came out,
They still sold them.
Target went balls in on the 64. I got my first
They
disc
stayed on
drive.
target.
Stay on
Target.
Target. No, I got my first 64. So my first disc drive at Target. That also being said, every time my disc drives would fail, I'd bring it back to Target and get a new one.
yeah, they're an exception church
their
forever.
return policy was freaking awesome. It's a year old.
They should know
It doesn't work anymore.
These computer things
Smells like cigarette smoke.
Remember Vic?
Yeah,
He returned. When he's desperate for a pack of smokes. He returned a Dungeons and Dragons handheld LED back in 1990. That was like 8 years after that thing went off the market.
Let's see, go
Freaking
Wario.
he brought it back.
The system.
I shit you not.
They're still screwing the system out return.
I think he got like $2 for it.
The guy probably just pocketed it.
Can't
Like,
give
it's
you
mine
full
now.
price, but I remember in little Target lore that I don't know, about 96, 97, they declared they were tired of being the Santa Claus of retail,
Yeah.
and that they were going to, clamp down on their return policy, which, by all accounts, was a mild change.
Look, you have to at least bought it at Target.
Yeah, right.
We have to at least have it.
I think that's there. I think that was about where they were at. Like, it's like, we need proof that this actually was sold at a Target somewhere.
Somewhere.
I mean, it didn't have to be sold to you necessarily, but
Didn't have to fall off a truck for Target. It just had to fall off somewhere.
It had to have, it had to have been a Target product at some point.
Yeah.
It was destined for a Target at one point.
All right. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a big announcement. We are going to be at Gamehole as always. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Gamehole Con, it's the first weekend of November. It's held in Madison, Wisconsin. It is a really good gaming convention. It has
Well, and it's a desktop board game.
Yeah.
And these are some serious board gamers in that, and if you're a board game tabletop person, really enthusiastic about that, this really is a good convention.
It's amazing.
It's small enough that you can
Yeah.
get in and play for a few rupees with people, but it's also
Yeah.
big enough that there's going to be plenty to do.
Dang straight. Registration's already open for it, so go to their website and get on the registration. This chat's going on in the background. You're about to say.
There's hundreds of events. I mean,
No,
like
I
every
know.
hour or two,
I know.
you can get into any type of game.
Well,
You know,
they
Larry,
have,
so
they
let
have
me
a-
ask Larry,
The
they have a
features, all
free-
AD&D and all that kind of.
and of course they have a free game library.
So what you're saying,
Yeah.
it was small enough to get in and big enough to hit all the pleasure spots.
Okay.
Why, yes, it is. So, but here's the big announcement this year. So, Guys Games and Beer has been covering this. So, this is they've been doing it
Yes, Game Hall guy.
for right. They've done this for 4 years. This will be their fifth.
Emphasis on the whole.
Their 5th year of doing it. We've covered them for 3 of the 4 years.
Yep.
The first year we did Run and Gun. No, wait, has it been 4 years we've covered them? Is this their 6th year now? No, it's their 5th.
Well, yeah,
year.
we missed
their first year.
number one.
One.
But we
92nd.
were there.
Maybe
at
running
2.
gun day.
This is their 92nd year.
I
We
was
did
there-
the Run and Gun.
yeah,
Then we did 2
Because I
booths.
missed the
Then
first
we
year.
forced our way in.
Yeah, so we did the booth the second 2 years. So this will be the 5th year of
Yeah.
their show.
Yeah.
So this is their 5th anniversary. Their growth has been phenomenal. Go back, watch some of the old episodes. We've had the founders on the show. We've got a ton of coverage when we're out there. Watch it. It's an amazing
Talk to
show.
orcs.
Yeah.
Who have attended.
Yeah.
Crap away.
We have
Get
talked.
kicked out? Well, we didn't get that.
No.
No.
But this is their 5th, right. So here's the cool thing about this year. Guys, Games and Beer will be broadcasting live. We'll have our podcast booth set up and we'll be doing interviews and running our normal podcast booth, but we're doing something a little special this year. We're actually going to be running a game at Game Hall Con. We are going to be running a full Steel Battalion setup. We're looking to...
360 version.
No,
No.
not the 360 version, the original version. So, not only will we be doing podcasting this year, but we are going to be doing a full gaming rig out there. Definitely, we'll have a full gaming area set up. Guys, Games and Beer is going to kind of expand our presence there, so it should be really good.
And I'm going to be bringing
What else we have
Mythicon
coming up?
Sorcerer.
What else do we
I'm
have
going to
coming
totally
up?
be bringing it. Because I think they need
I
adventure.
think that's all.
It's pretty quiet right now.
I
I mean,
think
we're...
Game Hall is our focus.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming up quick. That's
Full-
first
our
weekend in
full-
November.
Our full attack.
We do have a couple
It's
developers
our
coming
plan
on.
to attack, if you will.
I've got 2 on the hook right now. One that's been on before he's got a new game. I'm not ready to throw anything out yet because we're not 100% set up. They did request interview, so we'll definitely do it. But I don't have a date yet, so it's coming though. Next couple weeks, I would imagine,
All right.
and they'll be in the hizzle.
We love again. If you're a developer, if you have a new product, if you have something you want to talk about, get a hold of us.
You're going to be at Game Hall Con.
Yeah, serious.
So you want to talk about it beforehand.
Right, so people can get excited about it before. Watch some of the Game Hall interviews. I have to say, I think some of our best developer interviews are held at Game Hall Con.
Oh, I would agree.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
The
because
dungeon
it's a festival
interview.
of developers.
no, it's not a festival of developers, but they have a good developer presence.
The
That was
dungeon
so
interview.
useless here.
You didn't help me, but I needed help.
I was on full
Because you, yeah, exactly. You guys were so fawning.
I
over
almost
him.
cried.
You guys were.
I was almost in.
You guys were
tears.
fawning over him.
And then he like
Yeah, it's not good.
busted out stuff we didn't know.
Oh, he
It
was
just
he was
like-
he was a great interview and a great guy.
Yeah,
So-
God, watch that interview. It's like nothing like us.
No, it isn't, but it was a freaking awesome interview.
Crap. That
Who
You
he
guys
is-
staring at the screen with microphones.
Hey,
Yeah.
I love
Wow.
our Game Hall interviews. They are some of the best.
Yeah, looking forward to another year of Game Hall. So we'll have more stuff about Game Hall coming up. We'll probably get some of the founders on before that happens and have them on the show to talk a little bit more about this year's show, being it's their 5th anniversary, and again, their growth has just been explosive. You can't believe from
like diarrhea.
like diarrhea. Whether it's actually,
Liquidation sale.
Like
everything.
like the
Yeah.
Atari 2600 game, explosive diarrhea.
Yes.
You've seen that cartridge, right?
Are we gonna get that next year?
Is that? Yeah.
It was
Yes,
actually
we should
good.
get that.
It was at
You know, we
NBC.
could just order it.
It was
now.
yeah.
That's
Go-
not the same.
Not Goat Star. Pack Rat would sell it to us. So.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
There is a game explosive diarrhea for the 2600.
Yeah. All your relatives are over. And
All right, Rob, why don't you go ahead and take us out?
For the love of God.
It was a long show actually.
If you enjoyed this podcast, why wouldn't you? It's
It
wonderful.
was gold. It was gold.
There's a talking black box.
Or it was golden showers.
It was golden showers, really. you can check us out at www.guysgamesandbeer.net. If you are even more interested and want to hear from us during the week when we're not recording, or would love to catch us live on Facebook, you can check us out at www.facebook.com/guysgamesandbeer. Not ready yet. But it's close. It's close. Very soon. Very soon. The SG2B's coming. It's on its way. Then, yeah, that was me right there. If you like yourself some Twitters, it's at GuysGamesBeer. Of course, if you're sick of seeing our freaking faces, and who the hell actually watches this? Nobody. Most of you are listening to us on either iTunes or one of the many podcast aggregators out there. And if we're not on one, let us know.
And I'm
We're out
thankful
there.
for
We're
that,
on
but I
everything.
recommend once in a while
Gators.
looking
Gators.
at us, because we're awesome. Go look at it.
Wow, that was a good smile there. Actually, that was pretty good. Actually, I, on the other hand, am unphotogenic as fuck. Hence the reason, listen to the podcast.
Well, you know, I don't think there's anything else to say about it.
I don't think so either, Rob.
Thanks
So,
for watching.
thanks for watching all. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
We're
Goodbye.
sorry. Goodbye.
Bye.
That was
Night.
And we out.
amazing. Yeah.
All right.
Let's have a smoke.
Let's
What's
go
that bad guy?
Hey, wait.
What? So you come?
I've got
Wait, you're coming up for Game Hole, right? November 2nd and 3rd that weekend.
4th, 5th, somewhere in there.
It starts. We'll be there
We're all
Thursday
booking
through
our
Sunday.
time.
Hey, we're actually gonna rent a house.
When are you guys actually
I'm gonna go Thursday. 'Cause it starts Thursday night. I want to set the.
I would like to. But
I want to
just
set the
don't-
Steel
I'm not
Battalion on
bad
Thursday
at
night.
that
I'm gonna try to get
Wow.
the Steel Battalion people there on Thursday night. So we're running the game every day. Thursday,
Game
Friday,
night,
Saturday.
X
Sunday.
What? Under the stairs,
Yeah.
is that where like
Do you remember where Artemis was last year? So we were
It's right around the corner.
right around the corner from us. That like hall area that they
So
had.
you remember last year where we were at? So you look at us, and we're like the edge of the hallway onto the cafeteria.
Yeah.
As you pulled around there's like a back where you can eat, and they also had gaming. But there was another area that kind of went like this.
What's
And that was the Artemis.
Artemis, exactly.
Artemis, I'm
They're
like,
giving us that
what the heck
spot.
is Artemis?
We've got that
It
spot.
finally clicked. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
no, we've got that spot this week.
What is
Okay.
this? What is it? Oh, hand!
So no, that'll be great.
Hell
We're renting a
no.
house.
Yeah.
So there'll be a place to crash.
Yeah.
So
So I don't have to drive home at
no,
night.
and that's it.
Drive home at night.
Not from Madison. You don't want to be driving.
How are we like?
Were you up there?
Still, we're
You
like
guys
watching
know
that
this
next or not?
guy?
Year before
Oh,
I
I wanted
was.
to ask
Okay.
you. What's
Wow.
your
Because
what's
those
your
year
plan
Lords
for
were there.
this
And
And got
this,
kicked
uh,
out.
Yeah, what's up?
And then we went to Ty's house, so I drove home at 1:30 in the
My
morning.
company
I'm gonna go
wants
up.
to
And then
Are
did
you
you go
going
back?
to
No,
stay
No,
or-
No,
That's
I'll
it,
drive
I'm
back
done.
tonight.
Because I was
Who's
thinking about
that?
taking a ride with you.
Already?
Denise is
Who does?
not super.
My company, they,
Like,
or the company I work for,
Yeah.
they want to start doing video
Darlene's
production.
gonna be out of town.
Oh.
We three should go up.
Alright.
I'm not.
All right.
Can I pick your brain later?
We're gonna drive back.
Sure.
Alright.
Yes,
Stuff
you
that
can, sir.
needed.
Give me a call.
All right.
Okay.
Will do.
What'd you
Should I
say?
go?
No, just kidding.
I'm not, but I don't think I can make it this weekend.
Oh
'cause
no! I thought you said Darlene's out of
I can't be.
town.
Yeah, she is, but I can't be gone too long.
You won't be gone too long.
So
We'll be
done.
gone Saturday afternoon / evening. Come home that night.
Where are you going?
I'll see if I can get that.
All right.
You didn't
He's
let
going.
the dog out.
Madison.
This weekend?
Yeah, we're gonna go see the Skylights. They're playing live.
No, I'm not gonna
What's
Might
that?
be.
be there. I won't be there.
Right. Yeah, it's like old school Skylights. So
Alright, so there's gonna be some horns, some saxophone.
damn straight.
Sex
Alright,
him up,
I'm
Paul.
fine with it.
Yeah.
Or some saxophones.
Sex him up,
We gotta drag him along with us.
Sex and mofos.
I can see us three doing a road trip, smoking and drinking all the way up there.
Alright.
Why are we still transmitting?
Well, that's a good question.
I
You're
mean,
in
seriously,
control
we
of all
stopped
of that.
this like a long time ago. We stopped streaming like
Which stream? There's like 7.
Yeah, that's true.
I know, right?
That's more to the point. It's